people that discriminate. Had old men come in, talk to her, and ask her if she's doing laundry or serving lunch. And I've had to deal with a lot of shitty people in that aspect. And I've had to kick people out because of the way they were talking to her. Yeah, we're from Venezuela. We have accents. I've been told when they meet me in person, I've been told, "Oh, you sound white on the phone." What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like, you don't look like a diesel guy. What the fuck is a diesel guy supposed to look like?
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And today we are joined by my man, George, out of Georgia. George out of Georgia. I love that.
Georgia.
Dirty South, baby.
Hey. So welcome to the show, my friend. Now, guys, George is interesting. He is a business owner and an entrepreneur, and he'll tell you what the difference is and why he's both or neither, depending on how he wants to view it. But George, we'll let you take it from here, man. Tell the people a little bit about you. What's your business? How have you been running it? And honestly, any other fun details you like to throw in.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's a pleasure to be on here, and I appreciate you guys having me on here, number one. So thank you guys very much. So pretty much 10 years ago, my business partner and I, my business partner is also my mother, we decided to open up a dealership called Cartersville Trucks. So we specialize in basically purchasing diesel trucks. That's what we specialize in. It's actually diesel trucks, not just trucks or cars, anything like that. So we specialize in purchasing diesel trucks. We go through a mechanical inspection, fix whatever needs to be fixed, and then we retail them to the public. It sounds super simple and easy, right? Until you start asking questions about what's wrong with the vehicle. Does it need tires? How expensive is this? How expensive is that? What's the person's credit score trying to purchase it? Can they purchase it? Is this a fraud deal? Is this a good deal? There's so many different questions that also go into that. And we basically been able to grow from 2015. We started off with 5 vehicles. And late 2015, and then February 21st, 2016, I believe we had our first sale, and we've gone from 5 trucks to now we have over 130 in our lot. So we've grown from a $60,000 operation to we now hold an inventory alone over $5 to $5.5 million currently. And I mean, that's a big gist of it. And whatchamacallit? We do have much bigger plans coming soon. I will tell you that. I was going to save that for later, but to hell with it. We are working on building our next dealership right now, and that's hopefully going to be taking off by the end of this year, have the doors open, and be able to also provide a service center for customers as well. We see a huge demand in service, especially in the demographic area that we're currently sitting at, as well as just Atlanta keeps growing. That area keeps growing, the whole metro Atlanta area. So we feel like there's also a lot of shops that don't provide a good service as far as being able to properly diagnose vehicles and or just provide a good service. So we want to bring something to the table that nobody else can offer currently in our market. So that's something that we are looking forward to doing this upcoming year, and then starting off really kicking off next year.
Interesting. All right. My first question off the bat is, how does one start off building a dealership? Like, what did you wind up going through? If I'm the average Joe and I'm like, damn, what George is doing sounds really, really cool, I want to start doing that too. How does somebody get started with this?
Well, first you have to find a plot of land that is your one district to be able to have a dealership. Does the county allow more dealerships in that area? For instance, when we opened up, a neighboring county, Cobb County, where we actually live, did not allow another dealership in the county. You went to Gwinnett, they did not want any more dealerships in Gwinnett at the time. Bartow County, which is where Cartersville Trucks is located, they did have some open areas, and thankfully the dealership that we began was actually a dealership prior, and the guy could not make tax payments, and they actually had him shut down. So the place was vacant for 2 years. And we purchased this tiny little place thinking it was going to be a tiny little operation. And backstage, when I was talking to these guys, I was telling them, like, I didn't expect any of this shit. Like, I didn't expect this to grow to the point where we are right now, realistically speaking. And if you guys would have told me, hey, it's going to take this much work to do this, I would have probably not done most of it. Just because, like, it's not easy. It's not easy being an entrepreneur sometimes, or being a business owner and having to deal with people, deal with public, and all the other fun stuff that employees bring into the table too. So that's kind of a little bit of that. But first you need to have the authority to be able to set up there. Then it's your licensing, it's your business license, it's your tax ID numbers, it's your EINs, it's going through the fire inspections, making sure you have a building suited for business. That's number one. Do the lights work? Do you have exit signs? Do you have fire alarms? So all that goes into expenses that sometimes we forget about, but shit's expensive, especially when you're starting off with, once again, not a whole lot of money. Then after that, you have to get your dealer's license, of course. You have to be able to go purchase vehicles at auction or decide which route you're going to go. Are you going to be a broker where you just attend to each individual customer's needs, or are you going to just open up a dealership? And then you have, if you want to work off cash or if you want to have a floor plans or lines of credit given to us based on your credit score. You're given a certain rate, just like an auto loan or a home loan, things like that. And then that gives you what we call buying power. So when you started off, it's like, okay, you have $250,000. My 21-year-old self goes, okay, I'm going to go play. So with that money, you purchase inventory and then you go through the process of fixing it, all while paying interest on it. So the faster you move inventory, the less interest you have to freaking pay. So then your goal goes, how can I rotate and maximize profit at the same time? So then you just have to pick and choose. Am I going to go for maximizing profit, or am I going to go for rotating as fast as possible? And sometimes rotating as fast as possible sounds really nice and jolly, of course, but sometimes you have to go the alternative route because of, one, the market, and two, sometimes people don't like cheap shit. You'll have a vehicle priced too cheap, and what people go, why is this one 3 grand below the other one? But I bet you so $500 below. They don't ask that question. They go straight for it. So you have to know the market. You have to understand the market. And what I always tell people, Vin, is actually find a niche. Find a niche.
Mm.
Get really good at one thing. You go to a lot of these other dealerships, and especially in our area, nobody does what we do. So you go to another dealership, they might have 2, 3, 4 diesel trucks. They don't know the engine. They don't know what's been done to it. They don't know much about the vehicle at all, the differential. They don't know what transmission's in it. They don't even know half the time what mileage is on it. With our guys, I try to train my guys, my sales guys, to be able to know what engines in each vehicle, mainly because we only have to deal with 3 different kinds. So it makes life a whole lot easier. Ford, Dodge, Ram, and then GMCs. That's it. And Chevys, of course, which that's under GM as well. So you educate people in the simplest way possible. You fix the same things, you work on the same things, you deal with the same engines, you deal with the same, sometimes the same demographic of people. A majority of our people are going to be your 20 to what, maybe 50-year-old male. Very rarely do we sell to a female. That's just, it's a diesel truck world. It's a, heavy duty, hardworking, blue collar people. So one of my slogans is actually like, we work for the working class. So that's a big long story short of basically how you can kind of start something up from the ground up. And of course, then you have to, like, when you sell a vehicle, you have to send a payment for the sales tax. You have to send all the information properly. When I finance a deal with one of our lenders, if I mess up one letter, if I don't put that he's a junior or a senior, or I put the wrong license number, my deal doesn't get funded. You put the wrong license number in by 1 digit, guess what happens there? You just printed a temporary tag in somebody else's name. So it's a lot of detail-oriented work that has to take place and people have to pay attention to, or else you make big boo-boos. And then what happens if I sell a truck to somebody, they have buyer's remorse? I fucked up the contract. Hey man, I need you to come back in. Or hey man, will you be willing to sign this, sign this contract again? I don't want it. I don't want the vehicle anymore. I kind of want to go for a Dodge now. I don't want the Ford. Fuck. So we always want to try to avoid making any of those mistakes, and it looks sloppy. That's another thing. That's my biggest fear is I don't want to be sloppy when I work, man. I want to make sure we give customers the best treatment from start to finish. And when you look sloppy, when you're making them re-sign things, it looks so unorganized and so chaotic that it makes them go, what the hell did they do with the vehicle? Did they actually take care of it? Did they clean it properly? Did they service it properly? If he's sloppy, I wonder what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? So I personally always have to make sure I'm on my best behavior. I have to make sure that we're doing things the right way from start to finish. So that way, you don't have those red flags. It's like a relationship. So yeah.
I'm curious on why diesel trucks, and also why a dealership in the first place? I understand the buying the business that went out. I think that's a very, intelligent move, especially. I don't know if it was essentially for auction or if somebody was essentially selling the actual business and you were just picking up. No.
No,
So,
no, there was no business there. The place
oh, I see.
was vacant for 2 years,
So then
completely
why
vacant,
diesel trucks and why the dealership route
because nobody
comparatively
else
to,
was fucking doing it. Nobody else had diesel trucks. We saw demand, and believe it or not, my brother actually purchased a truck at auction completely on accident. We bought and I'll tell you exactly what the hell we bought. We bought a 2004 GMC 2500 on a 6-inch lift with 242,000 miles. I believe we might have paid 9 or 10. We posted that truck for, I believe it was, I think we put a little bit of money into it. Of course, you have to pay auction fees and all the other fun bullshit with it. And so I think we might have had somewhere around the 10.5, 11,000 mark area. I put the damn thing on Craigslist for 14.5. My phone did not stop ringing, did not
Mm.
stop going off. Text message, phone call, phone call, phone call, text message. I'm like, what the hell is going on? The cars weren't moving like that. The gas trucks weren't calling like that. The margin was bigger. Shit, we might be onto something on accident. And that's actually the reason we ended up going to just trucks. And then when we opened up Cartersville trucks, we decided to go all diesel. We
Mm.
just saw a huge demand,
Smart.
not very many people doing it, and thankfully it showed. So that's really my main reason. And like I said, it was more about finding a niche, and that was actually my mother's idea. Because I had the idea of let's have a little bit of everything. Like, what about the family that wants the SUV? What about the family that wants this? And she was
Mhm.
like, no, diesel. And I was like, all right, fuck it, we'll do it your way. And I'm glad we did. I'm actually very
Mom knows
grateful for
best.
that. Fuck, dude, you have no idea, man. That woman's a warrior. So the dealership would not be up and running the way it is if it wasn't for her. That's for damn sure. So hats
That
off to her.
that brings in a very good question, actually. A lot of people are very, very hesitant to get into business with family or
Hmm.
friends.
Absolutely,
What
I would
has
be
it
too.
been like? What has it been like to be in business with your family?
I've had different stages of it. So, of course, I said I was 21 when I started. So for the first 5 years or so, I was still living at home. I didn't move out until I was 25. Even though I was making good money, I had no need to move out. So I moved out in 2020. But before that, man, it was a lot of headbutting. It was a lot of, and that was mainly my fault, realistically. I will take complete blame for a majority of the problems, just because we just had different mentalities about things, and
Right.
like customer would come in, for instance, and these are one of some of the things that I still kick myself in the ass for. Like I really do. The customer would come in, I'd take the first one, I'd let her take the second one, knowing that she's a woman, and the guys that we have coming in, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. We've had a lot of racist people come in. We've had a lot of this, like people that discriminate. I've had old men come in, talk to her, and ask her if she's doing laundry or serving lunch. And I've had to deal with a lot of shitty people in that aspect. And I've had to kick people out because of the way they were talking to her. Because yeah, we're from Venezuela. We have accents. Thankfully I moved here when I was 7. So most people like I've been told when they meet me in person, I've been told, "Oh, you sound white on the phone." The fuck does that have to do with anything? Like, you don't look like a diesel guy. The fuck is a diesel guy supposed to look like? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to make a dollar, bro. Like, why you gotta bring all that shit up? So it sucks because I just brought it up, but it's just some of the struggles that we had to deal with. And as soon as I started
Hmm.
noticing that, I started realizing, like, okay, I gotta take over the sales side, because I was doing the sales and I was also in charge of the shop. I was
Right.
doing everything, and she comes in and she's like, we got to the point where we didn't have 5 vehicles anymore. We didn't have 12, we didn't have 15. We had like 30, 40 vehicles at this point. And she comes in and she's like, let me handle something. Let me do this or do this. And I'm like, well, I'm better at communicating with people. I can talk all fucking day, for crying out loud. So let me handle the sales side and you handle the back end. and
Hmm.
um, and after that, we got along a whole lot better, and we still bump heads. As far as family goes, I'm not gonna disagree. Like I said, a lot of it was my own fault. I feel like I was very immature in a lot of different ways, and I was your typical 22-year-old. I wanted to go out. I still wanted to go have fun. I still wanted to go out to the club. Show up Saturday, fucking hungover, 3 hours of sleep, not wanting to be there, and it wasn't fair for her when
Mm.
she's showing up, putting her best foot forward, and that's my mom. At the end of the day, I mean, like I said, we moved here from Venezuela when I was 7. We left everything behind, and that's when I really started to kick myself in the ass because my parents left everything they fucking made, everything they had, for my brother and I to come in here and have a better future. I feel like I owe it to them to repay that favor and give them at least their last quarter of their life for them to do as they
Mm.
please. So my ultimate goal is going to be to retire my mother, retire my father, and let them live the life that they can still live while we're doing what we can and keep grinding because we still have time. I We still have time, you know. So I'm 30. I still have. I can fuck up right now. I can fuck up really bad right now, and then figure it out and then be able to still get ahead by the time I'm 40. But when you start getting to your 60, 65 range, man, it's really hard to be able to start over. So I forgot what the working with family. So the best part about it, bro, is that it is my mother, and
Mm.
I have never lost a penny because of that. I have never had an argument about money with her. Never. And that's one of the things that we get along with the best. Because to this day, I personally don't pay myself. And it wasn't until it's been 10 years of me not paying myself. I'll go back to that. But yeah. And with her, she purchased a house that she deserved. And we finally started paying her, but that wasn't until the end of 2022. Before that, her and I didn't draw a single paycheck. I think in one year I paid myself 14,000. Another year I might have paid myself 5,000. 2024 I took zero money out of the business. This year I haven't taken a single penny out. So and that's because I have those little side hustles here and there, but I don't live an outlandish life. I don't live I don't care for the bougie shit. I care to make things happen. I care to try to make the world a better place, get the people around me to try to have like I've been an hour texting actually, and I'm like, man, it pisses me off when people do not have like standards. Like, have some fucking higher standards for yourself. So some of those that's one thing that drive me nuts. But I've never had, like I said, a penny missing. I've never had to argue with her about money. And it's been one of the most stress relieving things because I feel like most of the arguments with family and business comes down to money issues. It comes down
Mm.
to hell, before we opened up Cartersville Trucks, a little backstory, we worked with another dealership for 6 months. Worst fucking people ever, and I hope they're listening. Worst fucking people ever. And they were complete assholes. The young kid flipped a desk on my mom because I would have to go to class. I was still a student at Kennesaw State, and I went to class at 4:30, and then there would be basically a different person dealing with her now. And that place told us everything what not to do for when we went on our own. So that's the best benefit that we got out of that place. And yeah, so that was just something else. But yeah, it's definitely different. Being able to work with your mom, also your business partner, also, being able to transfer over from, hey mom, good morning, to hey, what the fuck happened with this truck? What's going on over here? What's the next one going in over there? Hey, I have a customer for this, so we need to get that one out. I already got the deal approved. Like, let's go. Like, what's going on? So, being able to flip the switch really quick nowadays and understanding, hey, there's a time to be son and mother, and there's a time for us to get shit done and get to work. So that's the part that I feel like we're doing a much better job of being able to separate at the end of the day.
So I'm curious about these side hustles, right? You haven't taken any money really from the business. So what is paying the bills? What are side hustles? What's this entrepreneur mindset that
OnlyFans, bro. No, I'm just kidding. So,
I'm
no,
on the dessert version, only flans.
yeah,
yeah,
depends
we
on
got
the
the dad
only
box
man's.
going.
Only
Good
fans. There's
idea.
just fans in the background swirling. No, go ahead.
So I picked up this idea probably at the end of the first year of business of, man, we're getting a lot of these customers coming in and they're taking a look at this truck that has a headache rack, has a fuel tank in the back, has the aftermarket front bumper, and to one person that's like, holy shit, that's what I want. But the 95% of other people, they don't want a truck like that. One, most people don't want to buy a work truck as a work truck. You'd be surprised. I'll get back to it. So my idea was, let's take off the front bumper because it might have a ranch hand front bumper. Those front bumpers brand new right now. Simple number, $2,000. That's what it would cost brand new, not including shipping and taxes. So we take off the original front, the big ass front bumper off the front, and then we put on a stock chrome bumper. The truck looks more new, more like out the factory. We take out the fuel tank, we take off the rear bumper. I post a bumper on Craigslist at the time. That's what we were using. Marketplace didn't exist. I would post them on Craigslist and I would sell it for $700, $800. We would take off, okay, this set of used tires still has like 35% life left, and we just put on brand new tires because it just makes the truck sell that much better. We would sell the used tires $250. So we were able to create a revenue on the side to be able to also help us live realistically. And that was still like, okay, we got $1,000 from that bumper. Mom, here's 500. I get 500. Doesn't matter if I had to lift it. I had to go meet up with the guy. I did all the messaging. What's right is right. If we're 50-50, we're 50-50, So she would just have the mechanics take off the bumpers. I would take care of everything else from there on out. And to this day, I still do the same thing. We'll sell fuel tanks, toolboxes. The customer's cool, and hey, man, you mind if I get a toolbox? Grab this shit. Who cares? You can't really. The resale value on toolboxes is garbage. You go pay $1,400 for one, resales for $200-300. It's not really worth even trying to sell them half the time. But did that for a while. When I was younger, before the dealership started to take off, I would also indulge in selling other items and things, the narcotics and things like that. So I had some good connections at the time. Just being real, I had some connections at the time, and I was broke as shit. When in between footballs, I played football in college. So in between football seasons, I didn't have the luxury to just train. I had to also work full time. And my dad worked for this waterproofing company. So I had the connection for painkillers, and I had a shit ton of clients whose back hurts all the time, and they were always complaining about some sort of pain. So, hey man, I can help you out with that. Okay, boom, and then boom, and then that actually ended up growing to the point where I had to completely stop selling because it was getting a little bit out of hand, and
You should have
I
just
was
went to
going down
medical
the
school,
wrong way.
man. You
I
had a
was going down the
clientele.
wrong way. No, dog, and no, I couldn't do it. I dropped anatomy in fucking high school, much less college. Absolutely. So my brain is not good at certain things, bro. I'm only able to there's certain things I cannot comprehend. So like I ride motorcycles now too, and like I can take shit apart. Ask me to put it back together, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I just did. I lose tools. It's a mess. So I hire people for that shit, and I handle the writing part as much as possible. But yeah, that's some of the side hustles, and that's the main side hustle. I day trade as well. Dealerships, if we're slow for whatever reason, or we're just, hey, it's just a slower day. Man, let me jump on my Discord real quick. Hey, what's the plan? I spy calls. I make a quick $200-300, get the fuck out. Doesn't always work like that, but yeah. What else? And then yeah, just flipping whatever the hell I've been able to flip, man. Like it's just yeah, steroids. I sold steroids when I was younger, like crazy too. Fun stuff.
You're definitely an entrepreneur. You're shady as hell, but you're definitely an entrepreneur.
I think there's a key there's a key component though here that we're missing here, and I think this is like that 1% mentality is you're a hustler, right? Like at the end of the day, for an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to know how to hustle. I mean, whether it's selling painkillers or car parts or steroids or whatever it's going to be, if you want to better your lifestyle, you have to get up and do something. You have to hustle.
Don't do your own product. That's another thing. That's what we
never get high on your own supply. Yeah,
pretty much.
101.
His name on Instagram is Diesel George, but he doesn't have a diesel truck. He still keeps the rules to this day.
Well, what I'm getting at, you saw an opportunity and you took it. And I think that's really what stands out between, I mean, you after football, spending all the summers, like you could have just quit. You could have just gave up on your mom. I mean, you probably could have done that multiple times, but you saw it through. You made sacrifices. You saw an opportunity, and look where you're at today. You're still hustling. You're opening up a second store. I mean, you're doing what you can to better yourself, to better your family. You have goals and aspirations. Don't downplay this. Like, it's amazing. Like, this is the lifestyle that we talk about to our entrepreneurs, to our audience every single time. Like, this is what it's like being somebody who was an average Joe, just like Shane, or just like Vin, just like me, just like you, that actually wanted to better their situation and took advantage of that. I mean, if that's not the American dream, I don't really know what is.
No, and I appreciate that, man. And sometimes you downplay it because you always look at, I could have done more. I could have done more. I could have done more. I could have made the extra phone call. I could have negotiated one more deal with a
It's the
dealer trying
hustle
to purchase a
mentality.
vehicle. That's
That's
one of
it.
my biggest downfalls too. Like,
I don't
realistically,
think
it's
it's a downfall.
I'm fucking critical on myself, and
Well, we,
once again, I set a standard up
yep.
here, and it's sometimes hard because you try to surround yourself with people that want the same. And that's been actually one of the hardest things for me to find in friends, relationships, even family. Like, it's hard to find people that can see that fucking vision and see the growth that it takes, see that, okay, hey, he doesn't want to hang out. I'm over here reading a fucking book trying to see how I can better myself. Oh, instead of going out on Saturday night, I'd rather stay in and foam roll and stretch and do something positive for my body so I can kick ass on Sunday, or
Welcome to
do
the
hip
1%.
exercise. Right? Or do fucking hip exercises because I want my hips to be agile when I'm at the track on fucking Sunday. Instead of, oh, everybody's out drinking at the freaking track at night. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to go eat a fat ass steak and I'm going to go stretch and try to be the best that I can be the next day. So I feel like a lot of,
Oh, sorry. I was saying Vin
no,
talks a lot about this, and I've learned the hard way, and Vin's actually helped me out about this. I met Vin at a networking event. I went outside of my comfort zone, and we talk about surrounding yourself and, ditching the friends that don't share the same aspirations or growth or mindset, and who essentially are holding you down. And it's a lot harder to actually do it. But once you do, and you are with like-minded individuals, like with the ones who are here present on this podcast, who are looking to better their situation, it's a whole new ballgame, man. I mean, you finally meet people who have similar mindsets, who have similar growth and aspirations, and it's truly invigorating. And anyways, shout out to Vin for helping me, realize the powerful mindset and powerful doing of networking and being present and meeting those type of people and getting out of your comfort zone.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
That's one thing. The networking shit's never been one of my best assets, but go ahead,
Me
Vin.
neither, man. You got to get to it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, man, I think that there's a lot of people. I like to break it down, so I will coach you right here, right now. But hopefully the listeners get a little bit some value out of this too. There you go, man's got a notepad. I love it.
Let's get it,
So
bro.
I I think there is a very simple strategy for networking. And it's not as complex as people like to think it is. One is identify like free things in your area, or if you have the capacity to spend money on something that could be really great for you, spend it. Like join a mastermind, join a paid group that might be doing something cool, join a specific, like a business entrepreneurial network. Like
Buy a
there's all of
motorcycle.
these
Yeah.
things. Yeah, like the motorcycle clubs, like anything like that, right? There's clubs for everything. And then that from there, people forget this, is you have to genuinely take interest in others, because a lot of the time we'll exchange numbers and then what happens is there's no follow-up, nobody actually connects, and then they don't make the time for like a coffee or a phone call once every few months or once a month just to say, hi, how's life, what are you up to? Because the funny thing is, the business isn't done from you getting on a call and me telling you what my business is and who I'm looking for. The business gets done because I become a friend. I start to know, like, and trust you. Then I get to know you well enough to know what your problems are, what the business is, and what you're doing, because we just spend time together and build that relationship. And then from there, I refer you business, or I just give you some advice, or whatever, or partnership comes out of that. And I think people really just overcomplicate this stuff because they think like you need your elevator pitch right, you need your ideal client right, you need to spend 15 minutes, you tell me about your business, I'll tell you about my business, and then we'll do this once a month. And like that's not it. Everything that I've had success in, and I could really track it back, has always been on identifying areas where the ideal people I'd like to be around are, then spending time just getting to know them and genuinely saying like, I would love for the opportunity to be your friend, or I'd love to learn more about you. And then that just builds everything. That's what's launched my other businesses. That's what's built my opportunities for investment. That's what started this podcast. And so it's really a matter of like putting yourself out there a little bit, not a ton, but just a little bit, and then just genuinely saying like, I'd like to learn about you. Don't even worry too much about me. And I guarantee the funny part is the curiosity factor kicks in because you spend so much
Yeah.
time genuinely pouring into these other people. They naturally want to know about you. And
How
that's
can I help
the
you?
sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's pretty freaking cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Start
The
start from the
magical
top
how
one
can
more
I help
time.
yeah. You'll have the recording, George. Don't worry. We got you. Play it back. George's going to be out on a run listening to me on repeat. So
Oh
George,
man.
I'm curious, man. We got a few more questions before we wrap it up today.
Yeah,
One
bro.
thing I'd love to know is what has been one of the most difficult problems to solve in your business, and how did you overcome it?
Myself.
Mm,
That was a quick response. As soon as I was like,
It's a
damn, you
good
know what I
one.
mean? It's all about, once again, it comes down to like your own personal growth. How far do you want to take something? Number one,
mm,
what is your ultimate goal? Like, do you want to make 10 grand a week or 10 grand a month? Or do you want to make 10 grand a day? Are your like what are your goals monetarily? What are your goals as far as the lifestyle you want to live? What are your goals for your future family? Like those are all things that I'm always thinking about. It's like what kind of life am I gonna give my future kids? Just like whenever I'm in a relationship, I try to treat my girlfriend as if it was my future daughter being treated by her future husband or her future boyfriend.
mm,
So I try to instill those things and try to, how can I be the best version of myself? And I think that was actually the biggest struggle. I like I said, I had a big flip switch when I was 24, 25 years old. Backstory behind that, I had after doing bodybuilding, I did bodybuilding for 4 years. After doing bodybuilding for 4 years, I did some drastic cuts, took some drugs, of course, test, trend, math, all, you name it. I was basically kind of damn near running it. My liver was basically damn near non-functioning. My enzymes were sitting over 130. They're not supposed to be higher than 33, give or take. And my blood was molasses, damn near just about. And I ended up having pulmonary embolisms, aka blood clots in my lungs, and multiple DVTs. So I had two blood clots in my right leg. I had three blood clots in my left lung, two blood clots in my right lung. I dealt with that for an entire month before actually going to the hospital and being admitted because I first I had one morning. Long story super short. One morning I woke up. I had pain all the way from my neck down in my rib cage, and didn't think anything of it. Stood up, took a freaking aspirin. Pain went away. Laid back down, went to sleep. Next that same morning, I woke up. I'm taking a piss and I sneeze, and I don't think anything of it. I just go start brushing my teeth, and I see a red splatter on the wall, and I'm like, cleaned that shit up and left it. Went to work. Nothing happened. Just who knows? 2 weeks later go by. I'm at this point. I'm struggling to sleep on my back. I can't sleep on my side. I have pain coming in, pressure getting built up. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to the urgent care real quick. Never go to the doctor for shit, man. I was one of those people like I do not go to the fucking doctor. Doctors are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. Well, sadly, I was proven right. Doctor comes in, does X-rays. Oh, you're too young to have blood clots. You have floating rib syndrome. Fucking makes sense to me. Rib move, puncture my lungs, and I'm fucking sneeze. Like, like it just made sense. I'm like, I'm being a bitch. Like, basically, you're not in that much pain. You're being a bitch. I'm like, all right, fuck. I mean, I haven't played football in a while. I haven't taken any like real hits in a minute. So you know what? Maybe my pain tolerance sucks these days. That was what went through my head. And about 2 weeks later go by. At this point, I'm sleeping damn near upright, 90-degree angle. And I got to the point where I was struggling to fucking breathe. Like I could barely breathe. So went into the hospital. They told me I had blood clots. I said, all right, cool. When can I go home? I didn't know what the hell blood clots were. I had zero knowledge of what I had going on. I was just like, okay, nope, I'm good. Let me go home. And stayed at the hospital for 3 days. And I had a lot of time to think about, and I know people often go back and they talk about, don't give a fuck about what anybody says. And that's factual to some degree. I want to say that I think it does matter, because the first thing that I thought about, I got admitted on a Thursday. Friday night going to Saturday, I could not stop thinking of not just like my friends, but my family and the kind
Mm.
of person that I was, the kind of person that I was being towards them. Was I a good person towards them? Was I a fucking asshole? Was I talking back? Did I have a fucking attitude all the time? Was it everybody else's fault but my fault? Absolutely. I was not to be blamed for anything. It was your fault for the position that I was in. It was my childhood trauma for the reason I was here. It was my mom's fault. It was my dad's fault. It was my fucking dog's fault because I didn't have free time and I had to take the motherfucker on a walk. You know, it was everybody else's fault but my own. And that's the realization I came to, and I realized I was in the big wrong side. I was looking at things the wrong way. I thought about, if I were to fucking die right now, what would people say about me? What would my friends, my colleagues, my family say about me? Of course, your family's gonna say the nice shit, yada yada. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I am a terrible fucking person. This is the kind of person my 5-year-old self, my 7-year-old self would not be happy that I
Mm.
became. So I started to try to make whatever transition I could. I dug deeper into podcasting. I dug deeper into self love, not just self love, but like, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better partner? How can I communicate more effectively? How can I help more? That's also the same time where my mom and I decided, hey, you handle the front, I handle the back, and then we'll get along better that way, and the whole 9 yards. So a lot of changes started to come in that way because I was a lot more open to change. I was a lot
Mm.
more open to listening to others. I was a lot more open to just researching and not just staying in this fucking, this is the way I do it and I know better than everybody else. No, I kind of took a step back and went back to, I don't know fucking shit about shit and I need to start learning and like just try to reboot my entire system, man. So that was one of the major turning points for me. And I forgot what the hell the question you even asked me was, but that was that's probably the first thing that comes to mind on just what kind of helped my life turn around tremendously. And I know it sucks, and it was the most pain. Dude, I had a nurse that came in, and this lady gives me a shit ton of morphine. She's like, "Oh, you big boy, African lady. Oh, you're a big boy." And then she gives me a shit ton of morphine, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," because dude, I could not breathe. Like my breathing was literally
Mm.
like it was so little because my lungs were so inflamed. It was truly rubbing my rib cage. So my ribs were dislocated at the time. They were all shifted. So it was just rubbing my freaking lungs raw. This lady comes in, gives me more morphine than I've been ever given before in my life. Great stuff. And then she goes, "Oh, honey, breathe. You can breathe." So I'm over here like, yeah, I feel good. You know, like breathing, taking these deep breaths. Motherfucker, when that morphine wore off an hour and a half later, I I kid you not, man, I would never wish that kind of pain on anybody. That's the most painful thing I have ever endured in my freaking life. And at the time that happened, my parents right there, I had to literally like tell them, like, like I could not even talk, and I'm literally looking at them. I'm like, get the fuck out of the room because I could not have my mom look at me like that because I know that that was just breaking her fucking heart.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I can always go back to and be very grateful
Change
for, to
moment.
be
Yeah.
honest with you. Yeah, man, it was huge for me. It really was. And if I don't think if it was, I don't know where I would be in life if it wasn't for that actually happening to me. And thankfully, negative for everything. Came off blood thinners 6 months later. The healthcare system wanted me to stay on blood thinners for the rest of my life. I went to a naturopathic doctor. We got slowly weaned off, changed up the diet, took a completely different approach towards the healing process. And like I said, 6 months later, I was off all blood thinner medication, off everything. So, and then the new life began. So, yeah, fun stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, and you get those wake up calls, man. Shit, I just had one in October. I went down on the bike, same thing. Fucked up my elbow, fucked up my shoulder, ACL, slight tear in my ACL, torn ligament to my ankle, just tore my RCL, my UCL, and my elbow, and that
George,
was
I'm
two and a half
I
months
gotta
ago.
be honest, the more you go on, the more concerned I grow for your well-being. We're gonna Just we're just gonna have somebody monitor you, call them your accountability buddy, and call it a day.
I mean,
Well,
Vin,
yeah.
if you look at the bright side here, George goes
Thank
0 to
you.
100, and I mean, you really have to
Literally,
love
that's
that
why he went
aspect.
down on the motorcycle.
And on top
Cold
of all
tires,
that,
man.
looking at from a positive notion is you clearly you learn from failure, but you have to really fail.
I'm stubborn, bro. It's also like, I don't know. I feel like that's also what makes this. It's like you have to be fucking stubborn to some degree, or else
100%.
do you really believe in what the fuck you're doing?
Yeah.
Right. But some of us would have stopped, if we would have hurt ourselves on our knee and had like a little guy like, you know what, maybe bikes aren't such a good idea. But
No.
you're like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna take this as far as I can go.
That's
I
it.
mean,
It's fun, man, and like there's very few
that's what it's about.
feelings that give you that kind of thrill, and when
It's the
you get to
dopamine.
that kind of a, yeah, absolutely, dude, that even if
Absolutely.
it lasts like a little bit of time, that high is fucking amazing. It's better than any. I haven't really done too many drugs to be honest with you, but it's better than most drugs out there, and it's
Yeah.
like you get on and it's fucking 7 sessions at the trek, and every session is just like, "Ugh!" So it's just exciting. So yeah, so that's why I
Well,
don't think I'm gonna stop doing that for at least another 10 to 15 years. I'm gonna probably keep riding.
If you
But
enjoy it, man, there's no point in stopping. If it's detrimental to your health, maybe get a mental coach. I got a good one that I can recommend.
oh,
But
sure, yeah, no, drop the plug.
oh man,
so George, we got 2 last questions for you before we wrap
Yeah,
up,
man.
because we're coming to the time here. So, as you know, this is the 1% podcast. We believe that being a 1%er does not mean you have to be a billionaire. It just means it's a way of life. Being a 1%er is really about striving to be the best in something that you care about, that you're passionate about, that you want to achieve greatly in. And the question that we have for every guest, including you, is what is your version of a 1% lifestyle?
Man, so I would say a lot of it comes from having discipline to do the shit that a lot of people don't want to do.
Mm.
Taking the tougher road. Like you see those memes all the time where you see 10 people or like 1,000 people in the line of the 9 to 5, and then you have the one person to like own a business and go through all this shit,
Yeah.
or get a job here, and you just have to deal with these little things. So
Yep.
I think a lot of it's just stepping out of the norm, man, and then doing the things that we sometimes know we need to do as well, that not everybody wants to do.
Love it.
That's for me personally, like it's about like how can I have a better routine. Sometimes I get to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning, there's people already leaving. I'm like, you're in that 0.0001%. Like you already got your shit done, you got 2 hours on everybody else. So it's just going above and beyond, man, and not just settling for bullshit, not just settling for the bare minimum, not being okay with mediocrity, and actually wanting more out of yourself, exceeding that from yourself, or else like I don't sleep good at night, man, if I don't try to like really push myself. Or my goal is literally to always try to get better. Every time I come in, every week at the
Yeah.
dealership, I want to get better. Every track session, I want to get better. Every relationship, I want to be doing better than I was the previous relationship. When I start having a new
Mm.
friendship, I want to be able to be better friends with this person than the last person I dropped to make room for this, whatever the case might be. So I think it's just holding yourself to just a higher standard and just being the best version of yourself, and that's really what it comes down to.
I
do you know
love
what he
that,
reminds
man.
me of, Vin?
Who?
Do you know? So this guy who is very famous right now, and I'll mention his name here in a second. His methodology is doing the shit that nobody likes to do. That's the 1%. And that's essentially what you're just saying here. And it's Gary V, right?
Mm.
When it comes to like entrepreneurship, like making cold calls, doing cold emails, nobody likes doing that. Not anyone. If you train your brain, you train your mind to love doing that, and you're saying, I get to do this,
Yep,
success comes that way.
100%.
You just saying that just reminded me of Gary V. I think you got a little Gary V in you right there.
And you're right.
Georgie.
You're absolutely right, man. I mean, it comes down to that 100%. It's Mike Tyson too. Mike Tyson said discipline's doing the shit even if you don't want to do it, but you do it like you love it. And having that attitude change goes a long fucking way. People feel that energy, man. People feel the energy through the phone when you're smiling through the phone, or when you're, yeah, yeah, you want to buy the truck? All right, cool. Yep. Hey, man, how can I help you? What questions do you have about it? What, do you want me to do a walk-around video? More than happy to send it to you. I know you're driving 45 minutes to come see us. Like, what can I do to make your fucking experience fucking that much better? Like, why me over the other guy? So, and that's where sometimes, like I said, I get pissed off, because you want to introduce that method of how to do something to other people, but that's too much work. That's too much.
Especially
but that's also the difference. Fuck yeah, dude. But that's also the difference between making 100 bands a year and making $250,000 a year. You know, it's
99%, 1%.
It's literally just, sometimes it's just doing that little bit extra. And that's the hardest part for me to sometimes get over and try to show people. Like, I can't show you any fucking more. I can't preach it to you anymore. Like, you have no reason to be envious of any other motherfucker out here. You have the same abilities that I do. I have a fucking 2.9 GPA. I almost flunked out of fucking high school. I barely made it through college. I feel like I had to apply myself harder than everybody else did in the classroom, and to get worse fucking results. But it's just about applying it. Apply, like, try. You'll find something along the way that you're like, fuck, I'm actually good at this. Like I said, I didn't know where the fuck my life was going. We ran into this dealership thing out of the fucking blue. Like, it was, I was about to go be a nurse. I didn't know what to do with my life.
You had enough people with back pain to be a successful nurse. So I'll give it to
you. Oh, we'll keep that for OnlyFans.
George, before we wrap up here today, and hang out for a minute after we finish recording, but before we wrap up here today, please tell people how can they get in touch with you? Where should they go if they want to buy a truck or buy any of the miscellaneous items off of the trucks you sell? How can people come and support your business or get in touch with you?
No, I appreciate it, man. So our website's super simple. The name of the dealership is Cartersville Trucks. Our website is Cartersville Trucks. My email is cartersvilletrucks@gmail.com. Our phone number is going to be all over the place. It's 470-315-4174. And you can always ask for me. I'm always there 6 days a week. I am never not there. And check us out on Google. I'll drop a little plug. We have a 4.7 rating with 600 freaking reviews. So we got to keep that moving. And we're located in Cartersville, Georgia. We're literally a mile and a half off Interstate 75. So super convenient to get to. We ship trucks nationwide. So it's not just you have to live in the area. I've got trucks in New York. I got 3 trucks in Hawaii. I have 4 trucks in Alaska. I can get it to the port, but that's as far as I can get it. So what you do after that, that's on you. But we do ship nationwide. We have customers all over the place, and we're always happy to help. And just, once again, just be straightforward about what the hell we're selling. And if we don't feel like the truck's good, we literally send the shit back to auction. We get a full refund for it. I get my towing reimbursed. Like, I have nothing to lose. I have zero emotional attachment to these machines. And Instagram, it's @diesel_George_. Our dealership is super simple. It's Cartersville_trucks. That's a whole lot of info I just dropped for you guys. And Vin, just to get back to you, I do drop a diesel. Fucker.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said you don't use your supplies, so I had to make sure.
Well, that was
it's either that or a Prius.
A Prius with a 12-valve Cummins in the motherfucker,
He's got to balance it out.
Yeah, no kidding, but it's been a joy to be on here, man. Seriously, thank you guys very much.
Thank you for joining us. Well, folks, there you have it. You've heard of Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious, but now you've heard of George Diesel and the Cartersville Trucks. So, very fascinating, nationwide diesel trucks at your disposal. Go check him out. Go see if you want something diesel. He's got diesel deals. I could do this all day. I'm not gonna, but guys, like, share, subscribe.
And we do finance.
And they do finance. And there you have, guys, you just gotta hit him up. He'll do it all for you. He'll even go steal a part from somebody else's car. I have no doubt if you need it. With that being said, though, George, thank you a lot for being here, man. Appreciate it. Everybody, like, share, subscribe, follow, comment, connect with us, connect with George specifically. And as always, I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And that was George, everybody. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Appreciate it.